Hi guys, today is absolutely a naff weather day. It's raining outside, it's proper windy, and I was going to go out and take some photographs over at Newtown Creek, but it's not going to happen because it's too miserable. So I decided to do some photographs indoors on film. I'm going to be shooting ILFORD's Delta 100. I'm going to be using all this space as my little studio. I'll show you what I'm up to. So this is my simple little background and a simple little tiny mini studio that I'm making for myself. There's a massive window there, so that's going to give me bags of light. That chair is on there because that's going to be part of my background, and I'm going to be using this white paper. It's the sort of stuff that they give you in fish and chip shops, you know, when you get your chips and your fish, and they serve it on that. But this stuff actually was from a removal company, and I'm just going to tape it to the chair. This is going to be my background. Just sticky tape either side of it, so it'll just sit there like so, and then we'll just tape it down the bottom here to make it a little bit tighter, like so, and this one. So I've got that there as my background. That window behind me is going to be my lighting for my subject. And just by placing the subject already there against the background using the video camera, you can see how nice the lighting is. And also the composition, very minimalistic, just leading those twigs there, leading right down into one stem. And obviously I'm not going to get the glass bottle in the shot. And you can see all the beautiful texture that I've got on these leaves. I think these are going to look lovely in black and white. So I'm looking forward to this session and seeing how these come out. And I'm also going to be using this mirror just to throw some light back into it from that window, as you can see there. So I'm going to be playing with this mirror as well and see what sort of effects I can get with this. Just a normal bedroom mirror. You can see the background already, it's changing like so. So I can put this mirror anywhere and just change, you know, the different lighting and shades and tones on this little plant. I've just set up my first composition. I'll record inside the viewfinder so you guys can see what I'm looking through here if I use my phone. Now the viewfinder looks square, but it's not. It's actually in portrait mode. So that's pretty much the composition that I'm getting there, and you can see it's lovely coming from the bottom all the way up to the top, and those leaves just start sort of going off in different directions, as you can see here. And I think this will make quite a nice photograph, so we'll start with that one first. I've got to turn this light off over here behind me because I don't want any influence. There you go, that's off. So we'll just place this reflective mirror now where I want some light. And you can see as I'm moving the mirror, that's without the mirror and that's with the mirror. And I'm using the mirror because it's a quite strong reflection of light that it's given me. I quite like that there. Next thing I need to do is some metering. So we've got 100 speed film in the camera. I'm going to meter three ways, one against the mirror, one towards the camera and one to the light outside. If I meter, this is just incident reading guys, so if I point the Lumisphere towards the window, which isn't ideal, that's going to give me f11.8 at half a second, so say f16. If I point it towards the camera, which is probably ideal in this situation, it's given me 11.5. If I point it towards the reflection, it's given me f8. Well, obviously that's going to be too bright. Back towards the camera, 11.5. So I'm going to shoot this at 11.5 at half a second. So I need to put a cable release inside the camera, choose half a second, f11.5 on the aperture. Now looking at the bellows, and it says I need to allow half a stop for the bellows. So I'm going to come to f11, and that should be everything set up according to my metering and the bellows factor as well. And with this camera, it hasn't got a shutter curtain in there or a focal plane shutter. It's got a leaf shutter inside the lens. So all I need to do is lift the mirror up inside the body and then open the leaf shutter on the lens using this cable release. There you go, that's the mirror open. Now I can fire the leaf shutter with this cable release, and that's it, first shot done. So what I'm going to do now is exactly the same composition, but this time I'm going to open up the aperture wide open, so we've got this shallow depth of field going on. And we're going to go to f3.5. So because I come 1 stop, 2 stop, 3 stops wider, I can now come down on my shutter speeds 1, 2, 3 to 1/15 of a second. So exactly the same shot, 1/15 of a second. Mirror open, 1/15 of a second. Done. So I'm going to shoot exactly the same composition again. This time I'm going to use f32, so we're going to have bags of detail going on. and that's bringing me to 4 seconds, but I need to allow now for that reciprocity failure. So with ILFORD Delta 100, anything over half a second long exposure, I'm going to need to add or calculate for reciprocity failure, which basically means if my meter comes back and says it's a 5-second exposure, with digital, 5 seconds is 5 seconds, but with film, it just takes that a little bit longer for it to absorb, for light to absorb into the film. It's the only way I can explain it. And there are charts. Most films have got data sheets which give you a reciprocity calculator, if you like. So I've got one for ILFORD Delta. So a quick working out on the old scientific calculator. Comes out 6 seconds, just nearly 6 seconds. So we're going to make this a 6-second exposure. I don't have 6 seconds on this, so I'm going to go into bulb mode. So bags of depth of field there this time, F32. 1, 2. Done. So I've done 3 shots there, f11 and then wide open aperture and then a very small aperture as well. So when I get in the darkroom and look at those negatives, it's nice that I've got the same composition but different depths of field that I can choose to make a print of. I'm going to continue, turn the video camera off now so I can concentrate on my photography and get some nice detailed photographs of this plant. You get the idea what I've got. Real simple setup, window light, a mirror and this simple little background. I'll more than likely take the background away as well, just so I've got that back wall, just to darken it down a little bit and see what I get there and come up with. And then after that, we'll develop the film and then we'll get in the darkroom. I'll show you guys how I make a print as well. And this is where all the magic happens. I'm in the darkroom now and I'm about to make a print of a couple of the negatives. And I say that because the eagle-eyed ones amongst you must have seen the compositions that I'd got. I'd cut most of the bloody leaves off, which was an easy mistake to do. The Mamiya RZ67 with that 645 back in portrait mode, I've got no guidelines. I thought I had them inside, but I didn't. At least I've got a couple that I can make a print of, which are actually quite nice. And I developed that film, which came out really nice in a new developer that's being tested at the moment. I can't mention what it is or anything like that, but in due course I'll possibly make a video on it. But the negatives on that Delta 100 come out really nice, very fine grain and bags of tonality as well. So I'm just about to do a test strip on this negative that I've got using f-stop timing, guys. So let's just quickly do this test strip and then I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll show you me making a print after that. And you know, I love coming in the darkroom after having a shoot. It's almost another part to look forward to other than shooting old cameras, developing negatives, playing around with different developers, etc. And then coming in the darkroom and having a dabble and see what I can come up with. So it's quite exciting, and I feel lucky that I've got a shed in my garden that I've got all this stuff in. And for those of you that have never been in a darkroom before or seen anything, what I'm doing here is just exposing the paper at different times so that when I want to make my final print, after looking at this piece of paper when it's developed, stopped and fixed, I will then be able to see what time I need to make my actual final print. That's all I'm doing at the moment. So I'm just testing the negative against a small piece of paper. And I've got on this enlarger lens, it's set to f8, and I've got a 2.5 grade contrast filter under the lens, and I've got a timer right above my developer, which this test strip will be in here for about a minute, so that will let all the full blacks come through, and then I can stop and then fix it and look at my test strip and decide what time was the best. You can just see it coming through now. Okay, I'll speed this bit up, guys, and we'll get on. I'll show you the test strip now it's dry. So this is the test strip that I've just made. That was 10 seconds was my base time, and from there the timer will work out what shade of black and white here. So if I choose this shade here, for example, I just need to come down -2 on the timer, which is 5 seconds. That's one full stop away from the base time of 10 seconds. So that's all that's doing. But I'm looking at the tones here. Obviously I know I've got a white background, that's quite a dark grey background, so I'm coming down to looking at here, -3, which is only 3.5 seconds. So what I need to do is another test strip, 3.5 seconds, and go across one of the leaves and see what that looks like compared to the background. So there's a base time of 10 seconds, and we're working in half stop increments, so I've come -1, -2, and -3 where I was, 3.5 seconds. So let's do a test strip at 3.5 seconds across one of the leaves and see how that looks against the background. So I'll just put my test strip right across and it'll go right into the background onto that leaf at 3.5 seconds. You guys probably can't see that too well. So that is my final test strip there. It's come out really nice, 3.5 seconds, contrast 2.5 filter, f8 under the enlarger, and as long as my background on the actual image itself isn't the same whiteness of the paper, which it's not, it's a couple of shades darker, that's perfect. So I think I can just go for a whole print at 3.5 seconds. I might have to burn something on the other leaf yet, I don't know. So hopefully the next print, full size, will be my final print, but if it's not, I can then work on it from now. So let's get a piece of paper under there and we'll make our print. And it's only a 3.5 second projection time, which is very short, but that's fine as long as I don't need to do any dodging and burning. If I do need to do any dodging and burning, because I'm using an f-stop timer, I can just go up, close the aperture down, which will give me 1, 2 or 3 stops more time. And you'll notice that I've put a border on this as well. I've got a negative that's filed down so it can show the edge of the film, which gives me a nice dark border around the film. Okay, 3.5 seconds. Off it goes. I think this is going to be okay. And it goes. So about a minute in here. I'll let you guys watch it come through, and then I'll get it stopped and fixed. Hopefully this will be okay. The only thing about working in a dark room with these sort of negatives, it can really show up any tiny piece of dust or whatever's fallen on the neg with a white background or a black background. If you've got a busy street, you know, negative, that's not so much of a problem, but these can become an issue. Then you've got to start cleaning the negative again. Hopefully I'll be okay. You see that border coming through now, so that border just sets this print off nicely, I think. Some prints the border don't work, but I think this one does. And you notice my border's not exactly it's not exactly equal around each edge, but I don't mind that. It just gives the print its own unique look. That's coming from my carrier, the blades inside the carrier, and not exactly straight. It's an old enlarger, but it just gives its own uniqueness, I think, so it doesn't bother me at all. So ready for washing. That's coming out really nice. You can just see the shadow on the print from the leaves as well, so it doesn't look like the leaves are floating in bloody mid-air. Just about to see the shadow there. So I'll give that a nice wash, get all that fixer and other crap off, and then we'll hang it out. So I'm looking now, I can see the little tiny hair and it's trapped in the emulsion. It must have been a minuscule, tiniest little tiny hair that floated around when the negatives were drying. Oh man, never mind. It is what it is, but I'd rather it not be there. You can hardly see it on the print, to be honest with you, and I could spot it out, but oh well. Okay, I'm on another negative now, but yeah, it is what it is, you know. You get a little tiny hair. This is exactly the same exposure, because I can do 3.5 seconds on this one as well. But it is what it is. You get a little tiny trapped hair sometimes in the emulsion. I might start trying to devise some way to make myself a purpose drying tube or something for my negatives. I always put them in the bathroom, and you know what, guys, I'm shooting film all the time. I don't be steaming the bathroom up every time I hang out my negs, so I'm thinking maybe some sort of plumbing tube or something to just put the negs into while they're drying. I don't know. Let us know in the comments if any of you guys got any sort of genius ideas other than an expensive drying rack, which I haven't got the room for anyway. So okay, second one, let's try this one. So yeah, it can be a little bit frustrating when you've got a really nice negative and there's a trapped hair or piece of crap or whatever stuck inside the emulsion that you can't get out. But there is ways around it. You can spot it out with spot dyes, which I've got, but I'm not going to bother because, you know, I'm just playing and dabbling with these negatives that I've got. This is actually a nice one. I like this composition a lot, and I hope this one comes out quite nice. But you know, to me, it's not anything super major important. I can always go back and do these again if I wanted to, so I know the setup and it wouldn't be difficult to do so. This is actually a really nice looking print, I think so anyway. Now, although those last two prints were a bit delicate, you know, very thin, this one is in your face leaf where I got really close and I put the water on. Trouble is, when you get the water droplets, sometimes they pick up the light, and that's what they've done on here, but I'm still going to print it anyway. I'll show you what this print looks like in a moment. So guys, I'm going to cut the video off now and stay in here for a little bit longer and make a few more prints that I need to do. Thanks very much for watching the video. I hope it's given anyone out there a little bit of inspiration if it's a crappy rainy day or whatever, and you know, to do stuff indoors. It's not hard to do, and as you can see, I was just using basic stuff around the house to make the photographs. So I hope you enjoyed the video and the darkroom session, guys. I'll catch you next time.